Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined alongside Marlén Cortez Morris, a legal franchise professional with all sorts of accolades and a rich background on virtually all assets of franchising and the legal duties to support some of the most premier brands in the country. She is a graduate of the University of Illinois College of Law, and since graduating, she has gone on to develop invaluable franchise legal insights through practicing law in the greater Chicago area. Her current duties are as a shareholder with the legal firm Ogletree Deakins, and needless to say, we've got somebody that has a whole lot of advice to send our way here on this interview. Once again, thank you for joining us. And I'd like to start off just touching on your background and how you were truly motivated to pursue this particular field. So, in particular, what is it that drew you to this field, and how did you end up specializing in franchise law?
Well, thank you so much, Justin and 1851 for having me. I like to say that franchise law found me. After years of practicing law as a commercial litigator and labor and employment lawyer in the Chicagoland area, franchise law became a new path for me to drive my diverse legal training in new and innovative ways. And given my background, franchise law really became the vehicle for me to unite and at the same time flex my wide ranging experience to best serve franchise clients with their compliance, litigation, and employment needs.
It's definitely I can imagine it's pretty uplifting to be able to help that many people, and you've definitely proven it with a rich history of where you've been and the duties that you've taken on. And as far as I think that's a perfect lead in as far as the current landscape and talking about how you've continued to progress and continue to elevate your status within the particular field. As far as somebody else that might be looking to elevate their status, particularly in a franchising sense, what do you really think is the biggest legal hurdle that faces the franchising industry this year, whether it be after the pandemic or completely unrelated to the pandemic? Are there any real hurdles that a lot of people in the industry need to overcome?
Based on my experience, as I've talked about, I call myself a multi-position player in that, I counsel, I litigate, and then I have this rich training in employment litigation and franchise law. But based on my experience as a whole, there are a number of employment related legal issues that franchisors and franchisees are facing and will continue to face while operating a business during the COVID-19 pandemic and thereafter. Anything ranging from vaccine mandates and workplace safety to the pending PRO Act in Congress and reversal of joint employer agency rules that seek to contain a broad joint employer standard. That is a very hot topic for franchising, and to privacy concerns as franchise brands automate and utilize technology that collects biometrics. Employment related legal issues will remain at the forefront for franchise brands in the year to come.
I can only imagine all the different duties that you take on. You probably have a front seat for a lot of these different hurdles that a lot of people are facing. So I must admit, I was very excited to ask that question for you, and definitely insightful to see all the different angles and all kinds of different moving parts that have been taking place, especially within this past year. And franchising definitely isn't a single dimensional industry by all means. So very exciting to be able to see the different insights that you're able to put together. And as far as some of the more common mistakes that you might see within different franchise brands, whether we call it a franchisor or a franchisee or different locations, however that may be, as far as the mistakes for a legal perspective, call it, assembling the actual business, if it actually be, a disclosure document or just the actual act of putting together a brand page for what it is that these franchise do you think that there's more specified mistakes within the brands itself that you've noticed?
Yes, I will say that in working with franchise brands during these challenging times, including on any of those issues that I was talking about, a mistake that I repeatedly see is the lack of involving legal counsel early on in the process. And right now, with the ever changing CDC guidance, local guidance, and legal landscape, it is crucial to bring experienced legal counsel early on to help guide system wide compliance, modifications, and the implementation of compliant workplace policies or procedures. I like to say that serious times call for seriously thought out measures. And while I can certainly handle any type of employment or franchise dispute, I really much prefer when I am called early on to help develop and implement a compliant policy or process.
I must admit, I feel guilty talking about the mistakes early on this interview. So definitely pleased that you were able to twist that in a positive sense right there. And of course, that's definitely the importance of getting somebody with a legal background involved. And it's fun to see that you're really able to uplift some people. And I'm sure that's definitely part of what you really love working about franchises. But as far as, collectively, and I want to ask this purposely vague just so you can talk it any direction that you would like, but what is it that you really love about working with franchises?
You talked about franchising as not it's not one dimensional, and you're spot on, and that's really one of the key reasons I enjoy so much what I do. When I think of franchises, I think of opportunity and resilience, which are two principles that I personally firmly believe in and that have driven me since I was a kid who wanted to be a lawyer someday. Even though I did not know any lawyers growing up, and I would be the first generation in my family to pursue higher education. So I connect a lot with franchise businesses. It takes tremendous resilience to break barriers, stay the course, and achieve. Franchising really embodies those two concepts, right? Franchising embodies opportunity, taking that leap of launching a business from concept to reality, and resilience of maintaining and growing the brand. For these reasons, I really enjoy doing what I do and being part of the team that helps franchise businesses go through their journey.
I think you hit it spot on. And definitely seeing how you're able to make an impact on a lot of people's lives. I mean, that's definitely the reason that we've been in touch with you in the first place, of course. So, I mean, I certainly don't mean to talk you up too much, but by all means, I feel like you deserve all the credit possible. It's very fun to see the impact that you've made. And on top of that, within the industry itself, it's definitely cut out for a lot of those different tendencies. And you're able to see a lot of very cool stories within people that follow a similar background that you do.
Very
So as far
inspiring.
as yes, definitely, and it's I mean it's an uplifting thing to be able to take a look at those things and realize that there's a lot of people that are benefiting from it. So as
Yeah.
far as what prospective franchisees should know before they join a brand, and this is something as far as your own expertise, I figure you're probably one of the most qualified to ask to answer this question, which is why I bring it to you. What do you think every prospective franchisee should know before joining a brand? Whether that be if they're just trying to identify a brand in the first place, if they're really pursuing a particular brand to set up shop. Is there some certain insights that you really feel should be on the table before somebody gets started?
Having litigated a lot of disputes, in the franchise context or the employment context, and here really dealing with franchisees, I think that it's very important that they do their homework, that they know what they're getting themselves into. So, yes, anything from exploring what type of franchise concept would be a good fit for them personally, not just based on the concept itself, but also risk tolerance, and really questioning, am I willing to follow all of these requirements in operating my business? And really being honest in performing that internal assessment. And then from a process standpoint, every prospective franchisee should do their due diligence and seek guidance from experienced legal counsel in franchising matters. In particular, I think it's very crucial that you get someone who understands the regulatory issues around that and the nuances of being in a franchise brand or in part of a system, and other business professionals, right, who can help you gauge the risks and the advantages and where you land on that, whether it makes sense for you.
We have some invaluable insights being put on the table right here. Once again, her name is Marlén Cortez Morris. We are overjoyed that you were able to join us right here. And once again, anybody based in the greater Chicago area or even nationwide trying to pursue different franchising insights, she is definitely available, as is the organization that she works with, Ogletree Deakins. Once again, we want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us all this invaluable insights. We are thrilled to nominate you as one of the top franchise legal players in the entire country, and we're looking forward to seeing all that you accomplish from here moving forward.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.